Hey everyone. In past videos, I've talked a lot about ChatGPT and how to create something with ChatGPT, a vibe-coded interaction that we can then place inside of Rise. And it's been great. We're able to do a lot inside of ChatGPT, but I also wanted to show you the Claude application and how you can vibe code something inside of Claude and then put it inside of Rise as well. Whenever I'm working with tools like Cursor or other applications that allow me to select which framework to use, I typically use a Claude model. Because when you're working with code, Claude actually seems to do better. I'm not sure why. Now, ChatGPT has gotten a lot better, and it still can create some pretty cool applications, but for some reason, Claude seems to be a lot more stable and seems to do better with the code there. I wanted to go in and show the desktop application. You can go to claude.ai and you can do the web application as well. There is something called Claude Code that allows you to do more robust coding with several different files. And so forth. I'm not going to show you that part. Everything that we're doing here, because the Claude Code is part of the paid version, which is $20 a month. Everything that I show you here, you should be able to do in the free version. Now, in the free version, you can just create a single HTML file. You can copy and you can paste that inside of Rise or whatever you're doing there. Now, I'm going to have more Claude videos down the road where we create a game, we create other types of applications as well. But today, I just want to show you Claude in general and just show a simple interaction like a carousel interaction and how you can build that carousel and then put it into Rise and use that inside of Rise. Now, Rise does have a carousel, but it just does images with text. So this will give us a little bit more control of what we can do inside of this carousel here. So let's go ahead and just go into Claude, and I'm going to pull up my desktop version. Over on the left-hand side, this is where I can see my previous chats. This is also where I can go into projects. I'll have a future video on projects. It offers some really nice flexibility, so we can just add specific instructions that happen all the time. So make sure that you check out that video once it comes out. Now, if I come into here, this is also where I can define that, I'm going to do learning. I want to learn something. I'm going to code something, which will go into Claude Code. We're not going to quite do that yet. Life stuff, you're going to talk about life stuff. I haven't really tried that much. But if you click on this plus icon, you can also go into research. You can add a project. You can go ahead and add files and photos. So if you're creating something like an interaction with images, you can add those images, or you can have it point to images from a different website. Those are things that you can do. You can have it research. You can use a certain type of style like concise, learning, explanatory. You can also do connectors and have things like connect your email, and you can set up automations and things like that. So ChatGPT can do that as well, but it is nice that Claude can do that, and you can connect those different types of applications there. So pretty flexible here, but we're just going to start out with the desktop application. We're going to create a single HTML file, so I can just copy one line or one file of code and paste it into Rise. So let's create this carousel. I am going to create a single HTML file that will have a carousel with various images. For now, just use the images, or you just use images from Pexels, which is a free stock library if you haven't heard of it. So we're just going to grab images from there. We're going to swap them out later as well. So use images from Pexels, have slide navigation that takes you from slide to slide, have sample headings and paragraph text on each slide, and make sure this looks up to date and modern. I always like to just add that just to make sure that's the style that I'm looking for, or if you have a certain type of style, you can go ahead and define it as well. It is always good just to start it out with an initial prompt. You could come in here and choose what type of framework to use. Right now, I think the free one is Opus, but if you wanted to go for Sonnet, Sonnet does do a little bit more thinking. This is part of the paid model as well. I'm going to go ahead and stick with Opus because this is, in case you are on just the free account, this is what you would use. So let's go ahead and hit enter here. Now it's going to start creating the HTML file. As soon as the HTML file is done, it's going to preview this HTML file inside of the right-hand side. It's going to kind of open that up. So let's go ahead and wait for this to generate here. Okay, so it is opening up and it does go right into the preview. You see that we have our various different things. And for some reason, it is automatically navigating to the next one. We do have a couple of problems here. So we have an image and this image is broken. Or it looks like it's broken here. You can see, and I don't know if it's automatically or if that was just part of loading. You can see that some of them automatically go to the next one. So that may be something that we go back and forth. Now there are various mindsets to keep in mind is we implement, and then when we're implementing new features, and then there is debugging mode. And I talk about this in my vibe coding course that's coming out fairly soon, or by the time of this release, it may be out as well. So check out my website. But you're implementing, but then you're also debugging, and you're going in and debugging and testing things out and making sure everything is working there. Now, one thing to know with Claude and ChatGPT, when you're using images from another website like Pexels, it looks broken here. But if you put this inside of Rise, it will be just fine. So you can define certain types of images. You can say, oh, I want this image, or you can upload the image. It may preview it better if you upload the image here, but just know that it's not completely broken here. In fact, if I go ahead and copy this, I'm gonna pull up my Rise course. And inside of my Rise course, I'm just gonna go into a certain page here, and I'm going to add my code. So my HTML code here. And so let's click on add code and just paste that in there. There you can see we have the image. It's using the full background image. We have also the text. This one is not auto navigating. So maybe that was just a preview there, or because it couldn't load the images or something like that. This one to me looks, oh, there we go. Now it's auto navigating. But let's click on this little format here. Notice that we don't have a lot of spacing on top and bottom. That's because it's trying to auto resize based on the content. But what you can do is uncheck that and give it a little bit more room. So now we can see the progress bar as well. That's a good start. It's actually pretty cool. You can't really get much of a carousel like this with the text on the image inside of Rise with their default carousels. So I'm gonna go back into Claude. I do not want this to automatically jump to the next slide. The learner will, or the user, it doesn't specifically know that it's a learner. I could use learner, but the user will navigate themselves. Okay, as you start to iterate and you start to give it, okay, change this, change that, and so forth, it doesn't take as long to generate the code. Now with Claude, it actually is quicker, I think, than ChatGPT. I've waited a long time sometimes with ChatGPT, but it is quicker to do that. And because it's not generating the entire code new, it doesn't take as long to actually just make some changes. But it also could depend on the change that you're asking for. If it's an overwrite, if it's a complete overhaul of the style or something like that, then it may take a while at that point. Okay, so once it's done, it does refresh automatically, but if you do need to refresh, there is a refresh up on the top here. If you want to expand this out, you could see this a little bit more. You can also go into the code by using this little switcher here, and you can see exactly what the code is. And if you come in here, you can't actually type in the code here. If you did want to type in the code, you would actually have to just copy and paste that into something like Visual Studio Code or something like that. I'm going to go back into the visual here. You can also just click on copy up on top to get that into Rise. Or if you click on this drop-down box, you can also download it, or publish artifact means that it gives you a link that you can send out to people as well. And it just goes right to the interaction. I'm not sure how long that stays active or anything, so it might be better just to hit download and save it and then re-upload it to Claude later. Or if you create a project, which I'll talk about in a future video, you can have all of your different files inside of one project, and you can create all of your vibe coded templates inside of there and come back and update them later. So that's really the basics. So I'm going to go ahead and hit copy. Let's go back into Rise and let's see how this works without it auto progressing. And so I'm going to just select all, or you can click on delete to get rid of all of it. Up on top, this little trash icon. And then now if I preview this, you can see that it is not auto navigating, but I did like that progress bar. So let's maybe bring that progress bar back. But I could also say, oh, I want the navigation to be down at the bottom, or I don't want the page numbers because we also have the dots here. So it does create almost like triple navigation to let you know where it's at. So those are the kind of things that you can iterate on. I'm gonna go back into Claude here. And let's say I do want a progress bar on the bottom to show where the learner is at in these slides. That almost may be creating another type of like, okay, we do have the numbers up on the top right. We do have the dots down at the bottom. We have the next and back buttons. So maybe we don't need this. but I just want to show you how you can iterate and add to it until you get the exact type of design and style that you want. Okay, so now it's reloaded. We can see the progress bar right here. It starts to increase as we go through it. I don't necessarily need to copy and paste this in because I don't need to see the images. So I'm just gonna like trust it at that. There's one more thing that I wanna do is show you how to start updating the content. Now on slide 1, I could just say, hey, make the text on slide 1 this, and just give it the new text. Or make the image and upload the image that I want, have this be slide 1 image instead of what's currently there. Those are the types of things that you can do. But if you know the different components in web development that are available, you can start to add more interactions to it. And that's really what I cover in my Vibe Coding Fundamentals course. I talk about what these different components are. I go through all these different ones, go through in depth on how to create these types of interactions. But for now, what I'm gonna do is just have it add a button and pop open what's called a modal. A modal is a little pop-up screen that happens over the content. So the content still stays in the background, but it pops up over it. So typically people will call that a pop-up, but as far as code goes, it is called a modal. So I'm gonna ask for a modal, a button on slide 1, and then I'm going to ask for a modal that pops up with some additional information. So let's go ahead and say on slide 1, add a button that matches the style and says learn more, and then shows a modal. By knowing these terms, it actually helps Claude or ChatGPT know exactly what you're asking for as well. So instead of you having to describe fade out the background, show a shape with some text on it, just say a modal, it knows exactly what a modal is. So with a modal and some additional content, just add some sample text for now. I will update it later, and then a close button. That way they have the ability to go back to the slide or close out that modal, because otherwise they may not be able to go back. So let's go ahead and do that. The one thing I do like about Claude is on any of these steps that they do, you can expand it out and you can actually get some more information. It does tell you exactly what it's doing. It does, if you read through this, what it added, a close button, click outside the modal to close it. We also have press escape to close it. So those are some things that I probably wouldn't have known unless I sat there and read it, that these are some features that were added to it. But we can see right here, there is a learn more. So I can click on learn more, and there's some information right there. You can, if you know these different components and what's available, you pretty much can customize whatever you want. I envision a whole course inside of Rise of every block being like a vibe coded custom course. I don't know if that's too much. I mean, especially if it's just text that you need. But if there are some things like the interactive stuff, why not vibe code it? And then you can go ahead and add some whatever style and customization that you want as well. And in fact, if you use the projects, you can go ahead and just define the style. So every interaction that you create will be the same style as well. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. If you do want to check out more, I do have my Vibe Dojo channel, Learning Dojo channel as well, where I talk a lot about vibe coding. You can also check out the Vibe Code Fundamentals course and dive into this in depth from start to finish. It is tremendously helpful, but I did, before we wrap up here, let me go ahead and copy this code and let's paste it back into Rise here. So let's delete what's there and then go ahead and paste in the new one. And you can see our images, it looks great. We have kind of this transparent look on the buttons, and I love that. If we click on learn more, there is our modal pop-up, and it's even scrolls down and so forth. And so depending on the size of Rise, there is a max size in Rise. So if it goes beyond that, you would have to have a scroll or something. So right now I can just go ahead and close that out, and there we go. If you also wanted to check out how to prevent the user from moving on inside of Rise, check out this video as well. That allows them to, or you could add a piece of code inside of this that says, run this code when they get to the last slide. So they're not able to move on until they've made it to the last slide. That's also possible as well. If you like this video, head on over to my YouTube channel, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, as well as hit the bell notification so you get notified of all future videos as they come out. That really helps my channel, allows me to reach more. I am pretty close to 100,000 subscribers. I really want to get to that fairly soon. So make sure that you subscribe. And then also, it really helps my goal of reaching more learning developers like yourself that want to extend and customize Storyline and Rise and other tools like that. That's all I have for today. So thanks everyone. I'll see you next time.